Hey, pumpkins. So get this synchronicity. I had such a nice morning, and I was driving home from a yoga studio, and I was thinking about you all, and I said, I just want to talk to them. I have this silly little artwork too. I just want to show you. I feel like a proud child, and I show it to my partner, but then I'm like, I want to show this to everybody so they can go, "Aw, good job. That's so pretty, Erica." Anyway, but as I was driving and thinking about you all, I thought about this story. It's one of my favorite readings. If you've taken classes with me over the past decade or whatever, you know I always bring something, a poem, a story, lyrics, a quote, something that helps to flesh out a theme that I'm bringing to class. Anyway, so it's called The Little Soul and the Sun. It's written by Neil Donald Walsh. Don't particularly know why it came to mind. Like, I was talking about a different reading, which I'm going to center tomorrow's class around. Tomorrow, Thursday. That's the only class I teach right now. Thursday, 4:30 at Flow Yoga, North Loop. And just through a conversation, I came up with the reading and the theme. Not quite there yet. That's coming together. But I've got the reading for class tomorrow. But this isn't it. Like I'm like, why is this reading coming to your mind, Erica, as you're driving back, as to what you want to share with everybody? But then I got home and I wanted to lie down for a little bit. I have this one muscle that just pulls all the time, and I'm like, I just need to lie down, and wanted to listen to a little something. And I'm always listening to Caroline Myss. I read all of her work. I just listen to every word she says, and I have for many years. I use her work on archetypes with my one-on-one work. So I think about the thing I want to share with you. I get home, I lie down. Not 2 minutes, it's 2 minutes into this video of hers where she says, if you understand the symbology of mythology, go back to the Judeo scriptures in the book of Genesis. And in mythology, the dark angels are sent by divine agreement or contract. This is the message in this children's parable that I'm going to read for you all in the next video. And for anybody who just doesn't want to listen to it, because sometimes I don't have the patience either, I'm going to give you a name. If you're into this stuff, if you too understand that the woo is true and you're interested in consciousness studies, there's a fascinating young teacher out there called Matthias de Stefano. You can find some of his classes on the Gaia channel. Matthias, Matias, de, D-E, Stefano, Stefano. And he has talked about light angels and dark angels. Regardless of what you think about angels, I don't necessarily know what an angel is. It could be a certain energetic form. It could be some sacred geometrical pattern in this world of energy that we live in. I don't know. Think about it symbolically. Maybe it's the voices in your head. Maybe you've got a light angel that's like, hey, let's go do something nice for ourselves and take care of ourselves, and then go help that person out there. And maybe the dark angel is like, no, let's drive to Vegas and go gambling. I don't know, off the top of my head, something like this. So this is for you who don't want to listen to the parable. Matthias says that these two forces work together, the light and the dark. I have experienced this myself. Here's a story, because story and metaphor help me learn best. And I know myself best. Hang on, let me think. I told this story in this newsletter, in one of the videos, because somebody just reminded me of it. Do you remember the story when I found that raccoon and all that trickster energy came in for me? Maybe I talked about it then. God, maybe I even gave you this parable then. I want to start to repeat stuff. There is something about the way I create where I want everything to be like innovative, but some of this stuff is so helpful and so useful, and I read things over and over and over, and they hit different at different points. So I want to start to repeat some things. And repetition is what? The mother of learning, they say, whoever they is. So quick recap of that example where the light and the dark angels work together. I kept getting a message to take a form, to go help myself. And I just wasn't listening. I was putting it off. I was putting it off with really clever little egoic ways. Oh, I haven't found the right person to talk to. I haven't found the right modality. Like they've got to be really good and deep, and I've got to just find the and then I just sat with that story forever, and I never got any help. And I started to really, really suffer about it. And what wound up happening, if you remember that story where there was a choice point for me, and I could have gone in either direction, and I chose the active laziness direction where I was like, I'm not going to quite go do this thing that I know is calling to me, but I'm going to do something good and close. I'm going to go rollerblade because then I'll breathe more and I'll feel better, and that'll be good for my mental state. And I'll do this, like I'll listen to something really good online on my earphones. That's when that guy rolled down the hill on his bike and missed me by like an inch, but then his dog leapt up on me and I fell on my tailbone, and then I was in the bathtub, and then it was painful, and it's like I got the lesson. Like so much had happened in within like a week or 2 week period, I don't even remember now, and it was all around some big lunation. I think it was a full moon. That choice point came back around. You know how we just had the full moon in Aries? I was sitting here where I'm sitting right now. It's the downstairs office. That choice point came up again. The same thing. I could have gone and done the thing that I knew was calling me that I didn't want to do. And I was going to say, well, I don't want to. I'm going to go to a yoga class because that's good, right? It's a sneaky way that the ego gets us to avoid where the real medicine is. Not that yoga's not medicine, but it's not the medicine I needed in the moment, if that makes sense. Anyway, and it was a full moon, and I'm like, Erica, you have had your ass kicked by some of these new moons and some of these full moons when you don't listen. I'm the crab, the Cancerian. Astrologically, the moon rules my sign. I've just learned to listen. Just kind of behave. Anyhow, so on the full moon in Aries, that exact choice point came up again, and I was like, I'm not playing with this full moon. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go do the thing I do not want to do, because I know it checked many boxes for what I was feeling I needed at the time. And and the dark angels didn't come in to assist the light angels when I'm not listening. If I weren't listening to the whispers of the light angels going, hey, Erica, so you asked us for some help, go do that thing. And if I don't listen, that's when they call their friends, the dark angels, and they go, you're going to go need to knock her off her rollerblades, or you're going to need to go whatever. Because sometimes, hey, it may not be for you, but for me, sometimes I just will not make a necessary shift unless I am really uncomfortable or in pain. So, in Dr. Caroline Myss's words, even evil has a role. If you want to use those words, light and dark, good and evil. None of it is bad. It's all working toward expansion. I was about to say it's all working for the good. It's not the right word. It's all working for our benefit. Nothing's, and maybe this is just me, but this is every teacher of consciousness and spirituality. Quantum physics, y'all know all the stuff I study. The yoga, the yogic traditions, they are going beyond the state of duality of what is light and dark, what is good and bad, and they're different forces. It's like the positive and the negative force inside of an atom. Like they both just have their jobs to essentially push us to these the higher forms of our own archetypes: truth, beauty, compassion. These are some of those higher archetypes, so that we are expanding, even though it's almost like an inward expansion, getting closer and closer to the truth of who we are. And that is what this one-on-one work I do privately, the whole point is to get to know who are you, to know thyself, and to thine own self be true. As the body is governed by law, like if I drink poison, there's going to be a result, because my body is run on laws. Disease, I mean, this is how medicine is even made, because there are laws that rule the physical and the body. And the same is true on, you get even above the mental plane into what is called the supra-mental. You're looking at the laws that are governing essentially our, you could call it consciousness, our spirit, our souls. Anyway, I can go all day and go deep into this stuff, and I don't want to go too far. In Caroline Myss's work, we each contain 12 primary, you could call them primary archetypes. It's almost like a birth chart. If you think of a circle and there's 12 pieces like of a pie within the circle, it's these 12 archetypes, and these are the laws that govern our being. Some of you may have, if you have children, you may have the mother archetype. If you're, people are out there, one of the newer ones is called the networker. If you're kind of out there and you're in business and you're into technology and you go to some of these convention centers, there's always stuff around Austin like this. You may hold within you the archetype of the networker or the free spirit. I was working with somebody, and something within our work made me go back and look at one of my primary archetypes, which is, you could call it the shaman. I keep testing for this. You can also call that the wounded healer. You could also call that the mystic. You can also call that the medicine man or the medicine woman. And this continuously over the years has shown up. I have tested for. There's ways to test for what our archetypes are. And I was looking at one of the challenges, because here's another weird synchronicity. I was about to meditate the other morning. This was maybe 3 days ago. And I felt, I had no energy, like none. And it was like the first thing in the morning. I'm like, how am I going to get through the day? And I literally was about to turn my headphones on, and I said out loud, I am at the end of my power. I put my earphones on, I hit the button, and the lady who talks in the earphones, she goes, power on. I was like, oh my God. Anyway. But I'm getting to the bottom of this, because since I've been back from this almost 3 months on the road, like, yes, there's an exhaustion because my nervous system was on kind of a high alert. Sleeping in a van as a single female, like all over the country in places I've never been, like there's a vigilance that comes on in the nervous system, and I felt it, and I was doing my best to relax into this and to feel safe no matter where I was. But like, there was a hint of that vigilance. But it wasn't just that. Like, there was a deeper exhaustion. I said to somebody, I'm like, it's almost in my, what did I say? My white blood cells. I don't know. I was like, how deep can I get in the bone marrow there? That exhaustion felt so deep. And this is how I find out. So that archetype work that I do for others, I also do it because it helps me so damn much, because I have been trying to figure out how to human for like 40 some years. And this is good stuff. Like, this is some of the closest I've ever come to. I'm really understanding my nature. And if I can gently lean into the rules or laws that govern my being, I'm going to, empowerment is the core effect, essentially, of like leaning into, essentially like obeying the laws of your being, not completely rebelling against them. So the shaman or the mystic or the wounded healer, they tend to isolate. This is one of the challenges of that archetype, this pattern of power, or this pattern of behavior, or this blueprint that we all have. We all have these different, maybe you see someone going down the street and got their pants yanked up to their chest and they're pushing their glasses like that. And you might go, "Aw, look at that little geek or nerd." Like that's archetypal language. Or, God dang, that dude looks like a warrior because he's, I don't know, jacked. And this is archetypal language. Anyway, I had several ahas as I was reminding myself about that particular archetype that I hold. My heart was so drained on the road toward that 3-month mark that it's like I was losing the will to just do anything. And that's when I said, I have got to get back to Austin, and I have got to get back fast. And I kept feeling like I need my people. I need to hug people. I need to look at them in the eye. I need to connect with people. Like, I really felt like my heart runs on love and connection, yet as part of my archetypal nature, I can tend to isolate because that's just the nature of this archetype. It's an impersonal thing. And I basically isolated for like 3 months, and I came to the end of my power. And I'm glad that I was reminded of that archetype. And as soon as I saw that, that's when I made that choice point, because I could have gone to a yoga class where I would see other people, but really I wouldn't be doing much interacting. Like, I made the choice to go to this regular group that I used to go to every Monday night. It's this large group of women that are connecting together and doing really good work together. And I just didn't want to go. I didn't want to go. It could be just my archetype. I want to isolate, but that's my challenge. I've got to gently work against isolating, because it's what I want to do. It's what everything pulls me to do. But if I stay there, man, I reach the end of my power. So, and I was invited to a yoga class this morning. What is today? Wednesday? I saw many of you. I think I got like 7 to 9 hugs. I was like counting it after. I'm like, that was so many hugs. I needed that so much. And so many of you came to the Thursday class at Flow at 4:30. You tried out a new studio. That's a big deal. That you may never know how much that means to me. It's like, you couldn't give me a greater gift. The appreciation is big and deep. Anyway, I really just wanted to say hi. I have so much to say to you all, and I don't have my artwork down here. Maybe I'll find it upstairs. I'm downstairs now. I'm going to go upstairs because I want to read you, those of you who are interested, this parable. I'm going to suggest reading it, listening to it before bed, or just in a time when you're feeling like, oh my God, this world is insane and I hate XYZ. And because there are some strong energy of resentment in the collective. And I go back and forth with it too. I walked in the door, I had a great morning, but yet I walked in the door kind of bitching about consumerism and all this shit. And I know when I am bitching about something, when I'm complaining, when I think something has gone wrong, I go, wow, I am believing in a lie. I know it. Or because it's not a bad force. It is there for my benefit. That is closer to the truth than, oh, this awful dualistic world and this political bullshit and all this. Because believe me, I go there. Believe me, I go there. It's like I just toggle, kind of just toggle. But I can't live with resentment. It is highly poisonous, especially to some of the particular archetypes in my wheel, especially the addict. I do have the addict, and the addict can't afford to live with long-standing anger or resentment. Anyway, I love you. I meant for this to be like 5 minutes. It's 21 minutes and 30 seconds. I got a lot to say. Oops, hit the button too soon. I love you. Thank you. For those of you who are like reading and listening and you tell me throughout the week, because I run into so many of you because I'm getting out of my little isolated bubble, it means so much to me. That's what we all want, to be seen, to be heard, to be appreciated, just to be, God, it's so basic, but it's so meaningful. And that is the big lesson I'm getting some tears welling up in the backs of my eyes. I really try to say what I mean. And when like I say, like, we are the most important thing about this lifetime, I effing mean it. Okay, love you. Bye. See some of you soon.